Hey everyone, CPO here, and in this video, we're going to be talking about this. This is the recovery gearbox, the RGB from Off-Road in Mind. This is a new product, and it's a external recovery storage box designed to mount on the back of your spare tire. This video, I'm going to be talking about it. I'm going to be showing you how to install it, and I'll give you my thoughts on what I think about it. So, first of all, this isn't going to be for everybody. Some of you are not going to want to hang your recovery stuff off the back of your vehicle. I also think that there's a use for this inside as well, which isn't really mentioned by the manufacturer, but if you have a flat storage area in the back of your Jeep, let's say you have your rear seat removed in like a JKU, this could be a good gearbox to just lay flat on the back. But yeah, it's Holy as well, so that's important to know. Anyway, let me show you what comes with it. These guys. So we have two tie-down straps and then one roll of Velcro. The Velcro is what's used to secure your gear to the recovery box, and the two tie-down straps are used to secure the recovery box to your spare tire. So I'm going to show you that, and supposedly it works with whatever tire and wheel you have on the back, regardless of size or style, as long as it has some sort of a spoke for the straps to go through. It's a toolless install, which means you can remove it and put it back on without using any tools, so you don't have to leave it on all the time. You just put it on when you're about to go wheeling, take it off when you're done. It's also lockable, we'll talk about that. And there's some other cool little features built into it that I think are worth noting. But let's install it. So I'm fortunate enough to have this tire on a swing out carrier, which makes it easy to get to both sides. So that makes this really easy. If your tire is mounted to the back of your tailgate, like it comes from the factory, you're going to have to sort of work around from behind and all that stuff. So keep that in mind. The other thing is hanging weight off the back of your spare tire. Your spare tire carriers are only rated for a certain amount of weight. Some of you are surpassing that immediately by hanging a larger size tire off the back. So if you put a 35 on a stock tire carrier, for example, you're already sort of increasing that weight. And then you think about filling a gearbox full of gear and then putting that on top. You just got to keep that in mind. So if you have upgraded your tire carrier, that would be beneficial. But to be honest with you, this thing is really light. It doesn't weigh hardly anything at all. And I don't imagine much of your recovery gear is going to be that heavy. We're talking about things like ropes and shackles and things like that, fire extinguisher. So I don't imagine it becoming too heavy, but worth noting that weight is something you need to keep in mind when you start stacking things that weigh things on top of tires that weigh things. So anyway, let's get this installed. All right, so there are installation instructions on the Off-Road in Mind website, so feel free to follow those. And if you're like me and you don't have any friends, you're gonna have to figure out how to hang this up temporarily while you can get it mounted. So for that, I'm gonna use this, a really long bungee cord, and I'm just going to wrap this up here with the hinge on the top, and that'll at least get it held up while I can mount it. Just make sure you put the hinge on the top. So now that I have it temporary up here, I want to talk about this hole right here. This is to go around a backup camera that you might have mounted on the center of your spare tire. So this allows that to be able to go uninterrupted. Obviously, you're not going to be able to use that if it's closed, so keep that in mind. When you have this gearbox installed, you do lose access to your backup camera if that's the location it is. However, they are working on building a relocation bracket to put your backup camera, license plate, and third brake light up in here. All right, so while this is up here temporarily, I can show you sort of what I'm looking for, which is a place to get those straps through these holes that are going to allow it to hang off of these spokes on the rear spare tire. So what I'm thinking of actually is using these two holes, one on each side for the top, And then these two holes for the bottom. I mean, I don't have a lot of options with this wheel, so I'm gonna make best with what I have. So yeah, all right, so basically, I'm gonna feed this guy through here. I'm gonna do right here. I'm gonna come back and grab it around the top side. Down. And then I think I want to put it right here. Let's just see what that looks like. And it's no accident that I'm doing this for the first time live on camera, because I just want to see how easy it is for, how intuitive it is for the install. So they do say you want to give it, a little bit more strap so it can wrap itself up like 2 or 3 times. This up right there. All right, that's loosely in there. I'm going to add the second one. And obviously I'm going to mirror the same exact mounting points. I'm pretending like I don't have a swing out tire carrier because I'm kind of curious to see how hard it is to do with it against the back of the vehicle. And where did I put that? 2, 3, 4, put it right here. Look how nasty that tire is. So basically feeding this through, then back down. Move that up. So you want it tight, but not too tight. You don't want to break this plastic, but you want it to really sort of lock in. Okay, I think that's where I'm going to do it. So now that I've got it sort of where I want it, I'm going to loosen this up and show you a couple of things. First of all, I can remove my best friend bungee cord here. Get that out of the way. Next, I'm going to go wash my hands. All right. Hands are washed, that feels better. Now that you know what strap locations you're going to use, you can always take a black magic marker, or even a marker that's not magical, or I don't know, nail polish or whatever, and mark that so that you can find it easier the next time. It will help you for repeatable installs. And then the other thing that's important to know before we cinch this down is how this device locks. Now, you can see here, there's a hole right here, and that hole aligns with this hole, and that is used for a lock that you would use like on a trailer hitch, a hitch pin lock. I don't actually know where my locks are, but I have one, and so what you would want to do is push that through the backside before you cinch it down, because once you get it into place, it's going to be pressed up against the tire, and that's what's going to secure it. So you want that lock protruding through from the back before you cinch it down. The other thing to note is you do have to lock this to keep it closed, or at least find something. You could probably use just a regular hitch pin and a cotter pin to hold it closed, but there is nothing to keep it closed without that component there. So you'll have to figure that out. But again, I'm gonna go through the steps of this without locking it, but trust me, that's how you lock it. All right, so pulling it back up into place. Just like that. That's how that's gonna go. Nice and centered, if I do say so myself. So again, you're gonna need to lock this, but you're not gonna be able to get the pin in once you cinch it down. So do that first. Otherwise, you can use something. I mean, you can get access to both sides. So I don't know what you want to use, a cable lock or something like that. You can do that if you want in a pinch, or if you'd rather do that. So that's it. That is installed. It's that easy. Now they do say after you drive it for a while, you're probably going to want to retighten it just because it's going to shake and sort of shimmy and settle into place. But the install is done. So now let's talk about what we would put in it. All right, so you are going to want yourself a fire extinguisher. And as it turns out, this little lock area happens to be a good shelf to hold that weight of the fire extinguisher. So by the way, you probably haven't seen the fire extinguisher from Halgard. I'm getting ready to do a review video on that coming up really soon. Actually, they gave me one to use and one to keep. So that means I'm gonna have to light something on fire. So I'm pretty excited about that. Anyway, so our fire extinguisher is gonna be able to rest in here. And the reason is because we've got a place for that weight. You can obviously put it down here, but it's not ideal. And this is probably gonna be the heaviest thing you have in your box if you choose to put the fire extinguisher here. So yeah, so how do we mount this? Well, it's easy. We use these guys, the Velcro that came with it. In fact, this is how you're gonna mount all of your gear using the Velcro straps that they give you. You just cut them to the right sizes and use these holes to attach. Magical scissors. There we go. Fire extinguisher mounted and secured. I'm almost thinking on the trail, you're probably not going to want to leave it locked because if you need access to this stuff, maybe just the standard hitch pin with the little cotter pin would be good for on the trail. You know, you got to keep it locked, keep it from flopping around. That's actually one of the critiques I have for this is if I had any recommendation for them, I would love to find a way to have it sort of latch without locking it, so it would be easy to open and close, but yet not flop around. Anyway, they didn't ask me about that, but that's my feedback. Anyway, fire extinguisher right here. Yeah, it should be pretty solid, and you know, actually I can make that a little tighter. And obviously, the tighter you make your connections, the more secure everything's gonna be. That's good, yeah, and easy to see. I mean, easy to get to. You just undo the Velcro. So that's that fire extinguisher. Now, what else are you gonna put in here? I don't know. That's up to you. You can put all kinds of stuff in here. But one thing I do want to talk about specifically that was designed for this is the ability to have a tow strap or a tow rope that is concealed and hidden inside your recovery gearbox, but also can still be attached to your recovery points on the Jeep. So let me find a strap. All right, let's assume you have this fancy schmancy tow strap and you're out doing your thing on the trails and you want to be able to quickly get towed out of harm's way, but you just want to leave this thing attached, which we see all the time, right? Usually it's wrapped around the spare tire after it's been connected. Well, one of the cool things that they've done here is they've made the ability to leave your strap connected, and there's a slot right here in the bottom. And so what you can do is, I'm just going to loosely sort of hang this up here. Just like that. And figure out which piece of Velcro I'm going to use. All right, so that is there. That is there. And now that is closed. And you can see what we have going on there. That strap is just hanging right there. And because of that gap that's built in, you can still close it completely and lock it. There's a better look at the lock latch area. So not only can it take a flat strap, if you have a rope, it will also accept that because of this round cutout. So yeah, I mean, you could fill this to whatever your heart desired. You just have to keep in mind all the extra weight that is hanging off the back of your spare tire. But I mean, I think it's a pretty creative and cool design, especially when space is a premium. A lot of vehicles, especially the Jeeps, just do not have a lot of extra room for stuff. So this gets quite a bit of stuff out of your way in the passenger compartment and someplace that is safe and secure. It is not waterproof, but water resistant. The edges overlap to keep water from just getting in there. And there's opportunities for drainage here at the bottom. But you know, it's not waterproof, so let's not make that mistake. But it's easy to put on when you go wheeling, take off, store it in the garage. You just keep your recovery gear stored away. Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. So off-road in mind, yeah, it's kind of cool. So I don't know if it's for you. Only you can answer that for yourself. But you certainly can't go wrong at least taking a look at it. Go check out their website, offroadinmind.com. And yeah, I think it's pretty innovative, and I like sharing innovative things, which is why you're seeing this here. Anyway, guys, that is it from me. Thanks for watching. I will catch you on the next one.